Hi guys, my name is Brian, and today we're going to be talking about calculators. So, these days we expect our calculators to be able to do most basic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, exponents, logs, expressions involving parentheses, and all from an app on our phones. It wasn't always this way though. For a while, we got to use an abacus. And the abacus ruled things for about 3,600 years. Up until around the 1700s, we finally developed what was called a slide rule. The slide rule was a compact disc-size object that had a couple of arms like a hand on a clock, and you could put it on the different expression values and come up with the answer. It did advanced trigs. That's your sine, your cosine, your tangent, inverse cosine, inverse sine, as well as your cotangents and everything like that. And it also did logs and exponential functions and square roots. It was awesome. You had to know how to use a slide rule up until the 1980s in order to get a basic mathematics education. Calculators had already come about, but they weren't a household object. We needed a computational device, and so we started developing it around World War I, World War II, because we needed to figure out how to drop a bomb from 30,000 feet and land it in a 55-gallon drum. So the computer that was used in order to do that was about 2 rooms in the average house. Not very practical at all. So it wasn't until 1967 that Texas Instruments developed the Caltech. Now this device fit in the size in your palm, and it had a little printout on the side to where you could show that what you'd been calculating, and it did addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now, the only reason that came about was because time had allowed us the opportunity to develop NAND gates and transistors and the computational electronics that allowed us to do that. Now, in 1985, Casio made the world's first graphic calculator. And from there, we got Texas Instruments 83, Texas Instruments 89, like this one. And these things are geared more towards upper-level mathematics. You can do integrals and derivatives, and all from a calculator. The 89 allows you to do statistical analysis on multivariate functions, and it allows you to do complex integrals, including single, double, and triple integrals, as well as complex derivatives, and it'll all calculate it out within about 30 seconds from the time that you start inputting your function values. The reason that this whole thing came about is because we as mathematicians and engineers and everything like that needed a device in order to simplify portability as well as the ability to calculate complex functions. Since we needed something portable, we couldn't carry around the devices that were the size of this book in order to calculate things. Because even today, engineers have to do an integration test to where your best bet is a standard scientific calculator and a brief table of integrals. And just so you know, a brief table of integrals consists of mine has, there it is, 141 different integrations. Now, I don't know if you can see that. There we go. That's a whole bunch of different integrals in order to be able to calculate these things. It's so much easier to be able to do it from here. This device will do those for you. You push this little blue button, and then you push the 7, and then you put in your function value, and it gives you what the integral is. Now, it completely shaped and transformed the way that we compute mathematics. It's this simple device changed chalkboards full of calculations in just a few keystrokes. We no longer have to rely on our own abilities. We just graph it out on this, and it gives us a three-dimensional representation of what the function value is without actually having to graph it out, which is awesome. Otherwise, you got to graph it out yourself. Now, something that my kids have been telling me is where one of the issues comes up. They like to tell me why should they have to do or learn mathematics when all they have to do is calculate it out on their calculator. The reason you need to learn mathematics is because I can spout out all day what a derivative is, but most people aren't going to know what I'm talking about. I can tell you all you have to do is a few button strokes and it will tell you. But that doesn't mean you understand that you can calculate the velocity of an object based upon the original function value by calculating the derivative without understanding what it is that you're doing. And that's why I don't think it'll ever come about to be that way. We're still going to have to learn this stuff. That's all I got, guys. Have a good day.